concerned about some potential upcoming changes, which you will have to comply with. Let's see, Ben, would you like to go first
Sure.
this time?
So, thank you for giving me this one
No
first.
problem. You drew the short straw.
So, yes. So we're eyeing the possible changes to Florida's laws on electronic monitoring, right? We're monitoring that, we continue to do that. The way I choose to answer this question is we're really looking at monitoring and focusing on everything regulatory. So what we tried to do at Brookdale over the past year and a half is we've had regulatory boot camps, and what they are is we're looking at different markets, and we've had several in Florida, where our district director of clinical services, she's our expert, or he's our expert in everything ARCA, and they coordinate this meeting. They talk about survey readiness, best practices as it relates to tags that have taken place, and writing plans of corrections, emergency preparedness, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. But it really is all of the centers of excellence coming together to support the communities in what's really the most important thing: quality. Quality for our residents, and again, making sure that we give them the best experience possible and manage their conditions as best as we can to keep them as healthy as we can. So these survey boot camps have happened in a number of the areas of my division, and we're going to continue those in 2025.
Excellent. I love that you're keeping your staff up to date. That may be something we can do on the regular side too, a little boot camp too, right? Let's see, who would like to go next on?
I don't know if it's an honor to go next. So I have the distinct privilege of I have worked in some form or fashion with the Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration for over 30 years. So it's I'm Florida born. I'm a Florida guy, so I've spent a lot of my time here, and it's hey, they're an important part of our industry, and I think that's how I would like to start, because I think a lot of times it's, as an operator, we get caught in this trap. It's us against them. And truthfully, if you ask them, it's us against them, right? And so, but it's an important, regulatory things are important. It's important to have standards, and they play a valuable role within our industry. And Florida is a great state to operate in. I know we're in multiple states, and yes, there's some states are a little different, but I really believe Florida is a great place to do business, and I appreciate this association, its involvement, and what it does to help promote working together. But what we have is we have technology moving, and as you know, government doesn't always move that fast, and so there's a little bit of a tension that we have to work through, right? With technology, with some of the fall prevention, some of the programs that's out there. We've got to catch up. So we got to have those kind of conversations. And I think all of us want to be part of that in some way within our teams, to make sure that we're looking ahead and trying to catch up, right? To put those. But we can't forget, and I think this sometimes happens on a regulatory basis, it's the resident that kind of gets forgotten. You've got resident rights, but a lot of conversations are made without residents being part of that conversation. And so I think we always have to keep that in mind when we're looking at maybe some changes that needs to happen to kind of employ some of the technology. Retention, it's maybe a little bit better than maybe it was a few years ago, but it's still challenging, and markets continue to be difficult. So we have a nursing shortage. It's hard to get enough nurses sometimes in some markets. So what can we do better? So one of the things that we're looking at is, what can we do with our med techs? Will the state, will we be able to enhance their training, their certification? We don't want to get away from and try to shortcut anything. But what we are wanting to do is there opportunities that where a med tech can maybe take on some additional responsibilities with additional training and certification, so that we can help alleviate, because if there's no nurses, there's no nurses. And so I think we need to work together. So that's another area that we want to look at. And go back to this, You know, how do we build that bridge so that we can have good conversations, that we are maintaining a very strong focus on our residents so that we can deliver the best care for them.
And Don, I love your point about when does the resident's voice comes to the table when we're talking about regulations? That's an excellent point, excellent point. Joe, as chair of FSLA, I know that you think about this all the time, like how do we build this collaborative, right, proactive communication channel so that we can put the best regulations in place? And
yeah, I mean, I think it's a big issue, right? It's a big issue in every state, but particularly Florida. And if there's any ACA representatives in the audience, I want to just kind of share something. So many years ago, myself, Lisa, who's our chief clinical officer, who's here, George, my team, we were one of the largest operators, not only in Florida, but in the state of Arizona. And it's something that is ingrained in my mind because the state's philosophy in Arizona, the Department of Health, was deficiency-free Arizona. And it got both, providers and ACA or licensing in that mindset that we want to be deficiency-free, which really created that thought process and that headspace that we are sitting at the same side of the table. And we, meaning surveyors and providers, operators, need to be collaborative. And several years ago, I know Gail and several of us met with licensing at ACA, and I actually talked about this, so I don't know if you were there, but I actually talked about this concept rather than the adversarial relationship that sometimes happens in our buildings. And it shouldn't be that way, right? I mean, we really are all sitting at the same side of the table. We do want what is best for our residents. Surveyors, the intention behind the regulation is to make sure our residents are taken care of. So we really do want the same thing, but how we get there is a big piece of it. And so for me, I know that there's a meeting tomorrow with ACA. There's continuous meetings. That's a big part of what this association was founded on, is regulatory compliance. How do we help providers through these regulatory issues? But I think we need to take the mindset as providers that we are going to make Florida deficiency free. And how we do that is by partnering with our survey team, partnering with ACA, and really being more collaborative rather than when they walk through the door saying, oh shit, they're here, what are we gonna do, right? I mean, that is the typical, oh my God, licensing is in the building, right? But let's just be honest. I mean, if we took a different approach and we said, hey, we're glad you're here, here's all the things that you asked for, here's our survey binder. And by the way, these are 3 or 4 questions that I have. It becomes a different type of survey. And so, while I'm not gonna say everyone woke up on the right side of the bed every day they walk through our building, including us as executive directors, we need to take those walls down rather than keep putting them up. And so, I know Lisa, George, Amy, our entire Florida team is constantly thinking about how do we become more proactive, how do we become better communicators with our ACA teams, and we always get a better outcome rather than, don't look at this chart, or keep them in the dining room, or don't walk around my building, or why are you here at 7 o'clock to look at the med pass, right? I mean, we should be ready at all times. And I get it, we're not perfect, our residents aren't perfect, our staff isn't perfect, and you know what, yeah, we're probably gonna walk away with a couple of violations. And I'm not saying that's okay, and please hear me, but what I'm saying is that take those surveys as opportunities to educate the people that are in your building, just like you would a family or a legislator or anybody else that walks through your building. You know your building, you know your residents, you know your staff better than anyone else. And the more we do that, and the more we allow visitors, including ACA in our building, to understand the daily struggles, to see what it's like to live in our shoes, I think the more collaborative we'll be, and we'll be one step closer to becoming deficiency-free Florida. And that is a mission of mine, so.
Excellent. I think if any state could do it and be deficiency-free, I think
I agree.
I know it can be hard, I know.
And with the people in this room, I mean, we got some bad
Yes.
people in this room.
And Joe, it's just,
I
you've
gotta
gotta
add.
say something.
I gotta add.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good. First off, it's an honor to be a member of this board. And I've been on many boards. I've been affiliated with numerous organizations and associations. FSLA, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this because I can see Gail, is by far the strongest and the best association I've ever been affiliated with. And I've been doing this for 30 years. Jason Hand, who's over in the far left corner, is our legislative guru. He fights for us every single day. I am a co-chair with Ms. Lindsay Hacker on the legislative committee for this association. And I can tell you, they eat, breathe, and die to try and make things better for all of us. But we can't just do it as a board. We can't just do it with just Jason. We can't just do it with just Gail and her team. You all live it every day. How many of you are site level ED, RSD? Just raise your hand, just give me an idea in the room. Site level,
I thought you said site level, it's
no,
site level,
working,
it's site.
working in the communities. How many of you are community level,
Yeah.
executive director? Great. You're who we fight for, but we need your voices too. And we have multiple committees. It's not just legislative. We have multiple committees within the association, and we need your volunteering. We need your help. We have all sorts of ideas, but you're the ones that have to live it. And for that, I just want to thank you all, because we've all been there at one point or another. We're a little different level in our careers now, but you live it every day. And yeah, regulation is coming. It's coming fast. We are becoming a very large industry. And that means more scrutinizing, and that means more oversight. But we have the voice, and we can educate, like Joe said, and to make it better for all of us. So volunteer, help us. We need it.
And we have the expertise to do it. That's.
Mary Sue, could we just ask all the community leaders that are in the room real quick to stand up?
Stand up, please.
Everyone
Yeah, we
that
couldn't
works
see your
in
little
a
hand.
community,